Hello, this is Pyre from Nervosa, W.E.B, and Afterblood, and you're watching RichardMetalFan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 229 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom again, and I'm here with Hellpire from Nervosa, Afterblood, and W.E.B. So, how are you doing today?
All good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's a great afternoon here in Georgia, where I'm at in the USA. How is it over in good old Greece?
A bit like for Greece, it's winter right now, but it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's not like snowing where I'm at. We rarely get snow here in Georgia.
Oh, no, it's not snowing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better than being like snowed in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like the format is, I want to talk about like your musical history and sort of do a rundown of your discography, but take it back to young Hellpire. So kind of growing up in Greece, what were the first bands that got you into metal? What made you want to slap at a bass and be a vocalist?
I think was the classics like the first like wave, let's say, was like Metallica, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest. Um, but very soon after that, I wanted to go to something like a bit more hard to sound. And then I discovered Sepultura and Pantera, and I was like, "Oh, this is like awesome stuff." And for at the same time, I also discovered King Diamond and Merciful Fate, and that was it. I was like major fan.
Nice. And little would you know, you would actually work with King Diamond later on.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah. Yeah, little would you know. Yeah. So kind of what I
Yes.
was yeah. So what I was like doing my research on Metal Archives. I believe if correct me if I'm wrong, your first band was called Darkcode. Tell me about that because I don't think nobody ever really talks about that.
Yeah, it was like more like alternative rock, goth, like something like that. Not so much metal, but yeah, it was something with very like it was clean vocals, of course, and more melodic. And as a side project, it was really fun to do.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was trying to doing my research. I can't really find anything. Is there like any music floating around? Because I'm always curious to hear that.
There was I really need to upload again everything because over the years stuff got lost, but I think I have a new Bandcamp page and have everything there for free for people to listen to. So that's definitely gonna happen very soon.
Awesome. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that. Yeah,
Thanks.
so I guess the next thing I want to talk about is Afterblood. So how did you form the band? Because I believe you formed in 2011.
2012, yes. It was the first band I started, and it was in like a death metal style with extreme vocals. And the first album had really good like guests. It was with Valdemar Sorrichta from Gripa NC. He was also the producer. We had Tom Angel Reaper doing guest vocals, and
Oh,
the
wow.
drummer of Sodom back then, Marcus Freiwald. He played all the drums. It was a really like strong album and a really great start. And I really need to get back to this because with everything that happened with different projects, with then going to bass, this fell a bit behind, and I really want to go and do another album with Afterblood.
Yeah. Yeah, but tell me about like that first album of Unsound Minds. Thought that was a really good album, especially with it being like the first. So what was like the thought process going into making the debut Afterblood full length?
Thought process, just songs in mind and wanting to express them. It was like the first time that I had uh, extreme metal songs in my head, and I wanted to get them somehow out. And the way that the collaborations happened and all, like, it's sort of like the pieces fell together, it just happened on its own. So not really much of a thought, it just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what was it like working with Tom from Sodom?
Oh, he's great. He's a great guy. All people that worked on that album were amazing. It's very helpful, especially, because it was a band that just started. So it was a great collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I got to see Sodom at 70K, same thing with you all. And I of course Sodom's definitely one of the best, like in my opinion, the best of the Teutonic thrash scene in Germany with like Creator and Destruction and Tankard.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. And then kind of like going into 2015, you did that little other band, Christ Fuck, and you did the Hellgoat Militia EP. Tell me about that, because I thought that was fucking brutal.
Look, my passion is black metal, and I cannot just not do something about that. It was like I have to do it. I need to do something that's raw, old school black metal, and that's how it came. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was listening to it. It definitely reminds me a lot of like Behemoth, Dimmu Borgir, and Belphegor. Gore, and I was like, damn, because I'm a huge black metal fan. Like I love Emperor, Marduk, Satyricon, Watain. It's all just like heavy shit.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love all the bands you mentioned.
Yeah. And I love how the of course you also did a cover of Rotting Christ's Exiled Archangels, of course, your fellow Greeks. Like, so what made you all decide to like do that song in particular?
There was at that time sort of like for Metal Hammer Greece. It was a compilation of bands doing like Rotting Christ cover songs, and we did that, and then we kept it for the EP. And yeah, we were all big Rotting Christ fans, so it was great to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely in the Running Christ is definitely a sick band. I think you all definitely paid like a great homage to like I said your fellow Greek homies.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then kind of going back to Afterblood, of course you did the latest EP, Blood Arc Triptych. I thought that was a great EP. Tell me about that.
That was like well, it came like 5 years after the album. It took a lot, and there were songs that were very much. There was a lot of thought process in the EP, because these songs, each and every one, has a lot of background, the music, the whole, the lyrics, everything is very. We actually, I paid a lot of attention to it, and I'm very happy with the result. And I really want to do something similar as a new album for Afterblood.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of, is there any plans to do more Afterblood or no, or what's like the status with that?
I have the album ready for like a year right now. I just need to have more time to just, do the all the last details and release it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it'll see the light of day?
Oh yes, oh yes, it will.
Yeah. Definitely. And then of course going into the next band I want to talk about is WEB, or Where Everything Begun. So how did you end up joining? Because I know they formed in 2002, but then you joined in 2018. So how'd you hook up with those guys?
It was at that time their bass player left, and they were looking for a bass player. They were doing some auditions, and I really like had in mind the band because it's well known in Greece. And I was like, I really like their style. I really like the music they have. I'd like to go for the audition and see how it goes. And yeah, we went for a rehearsal and we clicked all together. And like 2 months later, we had a tour with Moonspell. We went to Russia and we started like almost immediately doing live shows. So everything happened very quickly, and the chemistry between us was like from the beginning really good and was super fun.
Yeah. And tell me about making the first album you did with W.E.B, Coliseum. Sam, what was like the thought process going into making that, being that was like your first record with them?
Colosseum, it was during COVID actually. We wrote and rewrote stuff because there was a whole like everything stopped because of pandemic, and at that time I really wanted this album to also have like a level up regarding record label. So I did try to do the connections, and it was really, really awesome that we signed with Metal Blade. And we want to be like really careful and give everything. So as a first album with Metal Blade. And although it took a long time to release because of COVID, the result was exactly what we wanted. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very good timing despite the pandemic.
Yeah. Did like the pandemic at all sort of like influence like the music or the direction or even like the sound of the album in a way?
I think it maybe because we tried to do things again and again because we had the time. It was more, it worked a lot more. Maybe it would be different if it wasn't with the pandemic. We didn't have so much time. I don't know. But because of that, and because like many bands at that point, there was a lot of free time to do this thing. There was a lot of thoughts, and that's the difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course the latest release you did was the little EP you did called Into Hellfire We Burn. I thought that was a really good EP. Is that something to like hold people over for the till we get like the next full-length web album?
Exactly. Yeah, that is the EP to give a little something before the next album, which will be in 2025. So we did like, let's say, the history of web um, with some new songs, some remakes, some like alternative music in there, but like everything from the beginning until now in an EP, just to give a tease for the album.
Yeah. Especially like you did like the re-recording things of like even Necrology. Gee, especially with you singing on there, and I was like, God damn, you actually sound fucking brutal on there. So how'd you end up like taking the lead vocals on there?
When we wrote the album, the Colosseum, for Necrology, because I had the lyrics and the vocal lines, I did the demo with my vocals and everything. So we had it as a demo, and then Sakis, the lead singer, was like, "Hey, for the EP, because that demo really sounded good, I think we should do it with your vocals and the way it was in the beginning." And I was like, yeah, sure. I really love that song. Absolutely. So that's how it started.
Yeah. And one thing I love is like you did like an orchestral version of the Clemor Luna trilogy. And it really makes me think it would be a cool idea if you guys like played with like a symphony, kind of like similar to how like Flesh God Apocalypse or even Septic Flesh did theirs. I think it would be amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a dream coming true. Absolutely. That's very hard to do, but it would be amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd pay money to see that in concert.
Nice. I
Yeah.
pay money for this to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm hoping like WEB would come and tour the States. I would love to see you all play because you are really great. You definitely remind me a lot of like of course your fellow Greeks and Septic Flesh and also hints of like Flesh God Apocalypse as well.
We really want, and I think it will happen sooner than we think. We want to have a US tour, and that's like one of the main goals right now to make it happen.
Yeah, I gotta see you all rocking up in Atlanta and the A-Town.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also, of course, last year, of course, or the year prior, you actually joined up with the Nervosa. So how'd you end up joining the band?
That's the good things about social media, where people in different countries to see each other and see their music and how they play. Um, I knew Prika from social media. She knew me too. But I think like the first time that she saw me was in Brazil, doing vocals for King Diamond. And after that, like we had a, you know, acquaintance through Facebook and Instagram. And at that point, it was like the bass player had left or couldn't follow. So she was trying to find another member. And the minute she told me, I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so what was it like working with on Jailbreak? Definitely one of my favorite albums from last year. Tell me about like this.
Jailbreak, I joined like on March, like almost a year before, but the recordings of Jailbreak were completed on the summer, like before that. It was a few months before that. So everything was ready because, you know, labels need to have the album many months before the release. And she was like, okay, at least you should write the bass for one song, just, you know, to
Which
be
was
there
Seed of
in this
Death.
album. Yes, I was like, yeah, I would really love to be at least in one. And we did a little bit of delay so I could write the bass and just be a little part of this album.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about like your part in Seed of Death, because you definitely have like a great bass tone.
For me, this song is like the epitome of the new Nervosa era, let's say. It has everything. It has the melodies, it has the solos, it has the thrashy riffs, it has everything that shows the direction that the band goes. And it was great to be with that song. Um, but yeah, the whole album and the way it is composed, it fits great, especially with the two guitars and with the Prika's vocals. I think it's been like the best so far, according to me, for the band.
Yeah, and of course, like this album definitely, like I agree, is sort of like the next era for Nervosa, with of course Pre-Kid taking over lead vocals, of course you and the rest of the gals joining up. So how was it like working with the with of course Helena, and then of course Gabby, now the new member of the band.
Oh, it's great, great. All the girls are great. Prika and Helena and Michaela, the previous drummer, and now Gabi. It's just it's great to see female musicians with the passion for metal, and it's also great to tour with them. And I don't know, it's so far everything has been an amazing experience.
Yeah, and great seeing you all live was great, because I managed to catch both of y'all set at the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, and it was my first time ever seeing Nervosa live ever. And I remember meeting you all. Oh, and I remember we were supposed to actually do the interview on the boat, but then I forgot to ask, and it wasn't until afterwards I was like, shit, I forgot. So I'm only have myself to blame for that.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but seeing you all live is just like another great experience. So how different of a sort of like a mind frame is it to like as from playing live as opposed to like recording?
Well, recording, you have to be very focused, you have to be very rehearsed, you have to be there. You also have to be very rehearsed for live shows, but there you need to have fun also, and you need to connect with people, and you need to make people enjoy. Apart from playing good music, having a great performance, you need to make people enjoy because that's why they're there. When you record, it's like you're on your own and you need to be in your own very focused mindset and perform, but in, trying to give what you have in your mind the best way, like recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, and sort of like talking about like your approach to bass, because I know there's always all the bass player jokes and memes made, but yeah, I love how you don't gravitate towards flashy bass playing, but instead I feel like you find ways to link what the guitars are doing with the melody and what the drums are doing with the rhythm, but in own creative sense. So so for you, what is like your approach to slapping a bass?
There are many ways you play. I mean, there is this like you don't use pick for bass. For me, bullshit, because
Yeah,
you can use pick, you can use fingers, you can use whatever works for the sound, for the song, for whatever you're playing. It's good to have an open mind, and each time feel what's the better sound you need according to the song you're playing. I don't have any limitations about that. I'm going to use pick, I'm going to use fingers. I mean, it all depends on the style.
yeah.
So just follow what the song needs. That's all it needs.
Yeah, you pretty much hit it to the T because you tell all those people like that's a picture for pussies. You're like, fuck you. I play how I want to play.
Come on. Many great bass players have played with pick. It's
Like,
not about that. I don't know why people
yeah,
say that.
like come on, Jason Newsted, Tom Araya, Glenn Benton, and I can name a bunch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And talking about like your vocals, because I also saw some of your YouTube covers. Like I know you did that Monomarth cover for, and hearing your vocals are great. Especially I know you do backing vocals live with Nervosa. It's great to hear like your voice along with Prika's voice. It would be cool if you did like a stay thing where the song where you actually sing lead vocals on a Nervosa song.
That would be nice. That could be the next album. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be awesome. So with all the bands that you're part of with Afterblood, W.E.B, and Nervosa, how different of a frame is it depending on like the bands that you're in? Do you have to like be in a certain headspace depending on the projects you are, or are you allowed to sort of like bring like your own little style to whatever band that you're a part of?
I always bring my own style. I remain myself, and I express myself in the way, it feels natural. If I see that there is something that doesn't work or I have to suppress stuff, then I'm walking away. I'm not gonna go into a box to fit with the rest. I just want to be myself and give the music that I have in mind.
Right. And so kind of like in the end to sort of wrap things up, what's next for Afterblood and W.E.B and Nervosa? Have you all got any tour? This is in any new music lined up, and is there a chance like any of your bands like will come to the States?
For Afterblood, a new album for sure, hopefully in the next year. W.E.B, new album definitely in 2025. And with W.E.B, we want to have many tours, and especially in the US. And when Nervosa, we already have a lot of tours coming up. There is the Decapitated tour in March. There is the South America tour in April with the Summer Breeze there in Brazil, the festival. And then in May, there is a tour with Exorder, again in Europe. Um, Before that, we have a festival in Indonesia, Hammersonic. First time I'll be visiting there. I'm very excited for that. And there is a big tour coming up after that. I'm not allowed to say anything,
Yeah.
but I
You'll
think
tell me
you'll
when
be
I turn
happy.
off. Yeah, you'll tell me when I turn off the recorder.
Okay.
So thank you, Hellpire, for this chat. Great to be able to have you on. It's just any final words you want to say to the viewers that are watching this to close this out.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you. Wish we could do the interview on the boat, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
could do
hey,
it like that.
It is what it is, my friend. So thank you, Hellpire. So everybody, Hellpire from Nervosa, W.E.B, and Afterblood. See you next time.